Honestly, the best part about cutting my hair is that these old hats start to fit again. Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, with that you are having a great day, and in today's video, we're going to be sitting back, relaxing, and having a conversation about this box right here, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie exclusive pack. It's so old, it's so rare, and I've got one, and you don't, and doesn't that make you feel foolish? And then some other guy comes along, and he blows me away because he's got a full case of Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon first edition boxes. And that's absolutely crazy. It's so old, it's so rare. And I feel foolish. And then some other guy comes along and he's got Tyler the Great Warrior. And we both feel completely foolish because it's so rare, it's so exclusive, it's worth so much money. And then another guy comes along and he's got the 2001 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon card. And all three of us feel absolutely humbled, absolutely shamed. We are so blown away by the rarity and value of this card. And, you know, in the world of trading cards, it's very, very easy to get caught up in comparing yourself and your collecting journey to someone else and where they are in their collecting journey. And it's very easy to get lost in the sauce when you see what other people out there on social media, in private collector groups, Discords, YouTube channels, it doesn't matter what. It's very, very easy to see what other people have, what other people have been collecting, assembling, hoarding over the years, and compare yourself to them and think to yourself that because you don't have what they have, what you have just isn't as enticing. It isn't as exciting. You know, it's very easy to fall into this mindset that you are somehow inferior or somehow worth less as a collector, an investor, whatever, just because you don't have what someone else might have. The envy, it burns at your soul. Because, yeah, you want to be big and shiny and successful just like these other guys. And when you start comparing yourself to other people, what other people have, you know, it gets very easy to get caught in a loop of not only this kind of self-doubt and self-contempt, because why don't you have what those guys have? But it's also very easy to make a lot of ill-informed purchases, a lot of bad decisions that at the moment can seem good because they are progressing your collection. You're getting more of the big, shiny things that these other guys have. But they could also be decisions that in the long run are going to put you behind because you're making purchases in the moment that, yeah, they can get you this big, shiny new card or box or car or house or whatever. But in the long run, you're not able to maintain that collection. You're not able to maintain that house, that car, that card. Because for one reason or another, your finances just weren't in a spot where having that stuff long-term was really feasible. You know, we've talked in the past about setting realistic goals for your collection. And that is something I do firmly believe in still, that your collection goals should be achievable and realistic for you, not achievable and realistic in the scope of other people and what they've accomplished. You should never really compare yourself to other people and what they've got, because it doesn't matter, you know, what some other YouTuber or some other guy on Facebook or Instagram has managed to assemble. They aren't living your life and you aren't living theirs. You don't have their experience and they don't have yours. Instead, you should be constantly comparing yourself to the only person that matters in your situation. You from yesterday or a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. You should be looking at your collection journey and where it's brought you, where it's going to take you. What goals have you set for yourself and how you plan on achieving them? Because at the end of the day, the only collection that should matter to you is yours. And the only achievements that should matter to you are yours. I'm not saying you should ignore what other people have. You know, there are some really cool things out there, some really cool collections that are enviable. Yes, there's some really nice things out there that you can wish you had for yourself. But you should never put yourself down because you don't have what other people have. Instead, if it's feasible for you, if it's realistic for you, if long-term affordable for you, you should set some of these high-end collectibles as goals, achievable goals, you know. And yeah, sure, maybe I don't know, how much is Tyler the Great Warrior going for like $1 bazillion. Maybe that's not really all that achievable. Maybe a $1 million Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon from 20 plus years ago isn't that achievable. But there are genuine cards out there that are worth a lot of money, that are very rare, that are very affordable for their rarity, for what you have as your budget. If you've got I've said it before, but you should really plan out your collection with your budget in mind, your actual budget, not just how much money you have, but how much money you can afford to spend. Because at the end of the day, you can't forget bills. You can't forget your mortgage payment or rent payment or your car payment. The money you have left over at the end of the month that you don't immediately need to cover your living expenses, that is your budget. And some of it can be budgeted towards your card collection. So let's just continue using Yu-Gi-Oh here. There's a lot of old Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are fairly rare for what they are and are very highly affordable. There are some new Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I think are very collectible, especially in Rush Duels. This is my regular Yu-Gi-Oh update. Look at Rush Duels, collect Rush Duels, send Konami emails about Rush Duels, and demand that they give us Rush Duels in English. That aside, there is a lot of genuine stuff out there that is in the individual brackets. There are budgets as small as $1 a month that you can build a collection with. And there are budgets as large as $1,000 a month that you can build collections with. What matters isn't how much you're spending or how big your pile is. What matters is how much are you enjoying the collection you're building? And is it something that you genuinely enjoy? Is it a collection that you are proud of? Not, is it a collection that's as good as this guy over here or that guy over there? But is it something that you're proud to have assembled because it's something that you've put your heart and soul and money and sweat and tears into? I've said it before and I'll say it again as many times as it takes, but that at the end of the day, your collection journey is yours and yours alone. And if you can't be happy with where you've been and where you're going, then you really need to take a step back and evaluate what you're doing and why you're doing it. You can't just say, oh, I want to be as big and have as grand a collection as such and such here on YouTube, as Uncle Frank, and my collection's not big. Okay? You can't go comparing yourself to me or to any of the other YouTubers out there, because it's just not how life works. You don't get ahead in life by comparing yourself to others. Instead, focus on yourself, improve your collection, and kind of specialize the way that you build that collection. I know a guy who is really into speed duels. Actually, I knew two guys who are really into speed duels. If I had $1 for every guy I knew who was into speed duels, I'd have $2, which is a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. I know two guys who are really into speed duels. Both, actually, this is a really good teaching opportunity because both of these guys, to the best of my knowledge, they have a very different budget situation. One of them only has like $20 a month they can afford to spend on anything, and they choose to spend it on speed duel singles because they're trying to fill out a collection of one of each speed duel card. There are some speed duel cards that are genuinely worth a few dollars. There's King of the Skull Servants, there's Fortress Whale, the tournament pack versions of those cards. I think King of the Skull Servants is worth around 100, and Fortress Whale is worth around like 80 last time I looked. It's been a while. Maybe they've gone down or up, I don't know. But he has to save multiple months of his pocket change in order to afford any of the bigger cards. And he is still having a great time and enjoying collecting what he can collect, just because he does like speed duels as a brand and he wants to fill out a very hefty speed duel binder. Meanwhile, there's another guy that I know, I haven't talked to him in forever. Hope he's doing okay. And he's got this, from what I understand, massive speed duel collection. He's bought cases of all the sealed products. He's a huge fan of the series as a whole. He's convinced that it's the best investment ever, and more power to him. I hope it works out for him. But he clearly has a much larger budget than guy number one over here, and he's enjoying his collection. And guy number one over here, he's enjoying his collection, and they aren't comparing themselves to one another. They're just enjoying what they've got, and they're enjoying the journey they've taken to get to where they're at now. And that, I really think, is the most important part of any collection. It's not, oh, my collection is as big as Mark's over here. No, it's, my collection is something that I genuinely enjoy, and I'm happy to not only have it, but to share it with all of you. So at the end of the day, if there's anything you take from this video, if there's a lesson that you learned with Uncle Frank today, it's enjoy collecting for what it is. Don't try to compare your collection or your journey to someone else's, because it's just not a healthy mindset to have. And really, at the end of the day, what matters most is that you are having fun. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Do you have any collection hookups? Are you proud of your collection? Do you have a collection worth sharing? I'd love to see it, even if it's just like 5 cards on a page, Crazy what kind of cards out there people can be super passionate about. But that's all I've got. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you kids next time.